Only the Funny Car and Top Fuel finals remain here at the NHRA Autozone Castrol GTX Mid-South Nationals, and there is the most feared funny car in all the land. Kenny Bernstein in his Buick Riata bodied machine. He has set the national record and backed it up at 5:25. He is cutting Bruce Larson's points lead round by round. Larson going out in the initial round today. And here, there is problems with Mark Oswald's car. You can see the spray out of the pipes. The engine is only running on one side. What do you think, Don Garland?
That's a strange situation, and I don't know what would cause it, because it couldn't be one mag went out, because each mag fires into both cylinders.
Well, we'll try to find out mechanically what's happened, but as far as our story is concerned, that means it is a 5-run for Kenny Bernstein. He will win this title unopposed in the final.
What a shame, too, because both cars came into this round with a 541 and a 542. It should have been a really good race.
Now, we just saw some tire smoke on the dry burnout of Kenny Bernstein. Mark Oswald is climbing out of the car. When these two drivers get together, they always call it in fun the battle of the big red cars. Well, that battle will not take place here at Memphis this afternoon. It'll be Bernstein all by himself. Let's go to Brock with crew chief Leonard Hughes.
Leonard clearly disappointed, but what was the problem?
I think the camshaft broke.
Oh, gee.
Well, that is a very rare occurrence in championship drag racing. The camshaft, one of the most reliable parts in these engines. In fact, sometimes they'll last literally for years and years. Let's go back to Brock.
Clearly disappointed, Mark Oswald. Obviously, a terrible disappointment. Leonard Hughes told me he thinks a broken camshaft.
Yeah, it looks that way. I mean, one whole side of the motor just never started.
That's terrible. We're awfully sorry you're out. I'm sure you were optimistic about the race.
Oh, yeah, we felt good. You know, we thought we could improve, but, yeah, that's the break.
I know. I guess that's motor racing, though. We're sorry you're out and sorry it ended like this.
Thanks.
It's a big, bad break for the Candies and Hughes team. A good break for Bernstein. And Mark Oswald will really feel bad now because Bernstein blazed the tires right off the starting line. It could have been Mark's win.
Yeah, look at the look on his face. I mean, he is really upset as the big red car just coasts easily down the racetrack to a victory.
So Kenny Bernstein continues to whittle away at Bruce Larson's points lead. In fact, it is down now to under 300 points for Larson. Let's go back down to the starting line where Brock Yates has one very happy crew chief.
Dale Armstrong, talk about muddling through, but it worked out for you, right? Some days.
Talking to you again. Yeah, we did. I was just going to send him right after that wet burnout, seeing that Mark had trouble, but he wanted to do a dry burnout. And then the motor went up just as he staged, so something malfunctioned, but we were lucky.
Well, some days you'll take it any way you get it, right?
I'll take it.
Whatever works.
Thank you.
Well, especially when you've also muddled your way to a new NHRA national record of 5.25 seconds. Okay, another guy who's kind of muddled his way into the final with the scoop being attached is Eddie Hill. He's had a whole lot of luck going up against the guy who hasn't needed any, Gary Ormsby.
Fact of the matter, Eddie Hill has only made one real good run at this entire event. And that was in the previous round against Dick LaHaye. But that was a good run, 5:08. He's going to need that against Ormsby this time.
And don't forget, Don, that Gary has lane choice, and he has taken that far lane, the one that an awful lot of guys have said they didn't like. So we'll see. But before that, let's go to Steve with the funny car champion.
Well, Kenny, I know your only disappointment on this day is not being able to lay down a record for the fans, even though it was a single.
Well, there's no question. You know, Dale looked at me up there when he saw they were broken. He said, you want to go on, you know, instead of the dry? And I went, no, let's give them the right deal and see what we can do. And it'd been nice if the Budweiser Quakers say we could have gone down through there, but a win's a win, Steve, and it's a tough one. I feel sorry for Mark Oswald and Candies and Hughes and Motorcraft.
I know he has to really feel sick when he saw your tires smoke and he had a broken camshaft.
Well, sure, it always does, you know, when you see your competitor go up in smoke and you know you could have won the race. But
You've been there.
I've been there before, and that's part of racing. That's going to be that way from now on. But we'll take it today. We'll take the world record with us, and we'll gain some points on Larson, and we'll see you the next trip out.
What brought the team around?
Well, I think really this weekend that Dale just got his hands on the clutch pretty good. Now, this last run didn't show that, obviously. We stepped on it because we thought we'd have to against Oswald. Thank goodness he was broken. But I think the clutch side of it, Dale learned a lot in the last 2 weeks.
What a pair, Armstrong and Bernstein. Funny car champions here. Now, Don Garland, we've got 2 more race cars left. What do you think?
We're going to have one fine Top Fuel final. We got 2 evenly matched cars. Each car has the lane that they want. And look at that happy crew for Bernstein. This is their first win this year, and they're celebrating. And I don't blame them.
Pretty rare that this team has gone this many races without a victory, so they've got to be happy. as we watch Eddie Hill backing up. Here's his crew chief, Fuzzy Carter, looking on intently. They've had kind of an up and down weekend, and actually they've gone back to the basics. Earlier, Steve had a look.
A professional racer like Eddie Hill runs the best parts possible, right? Well, usually does. But when they get down on their luck a bit, a superstition here, go back to old number 19. This aluminum block is the 19th ever produced by the JP1 company. It's an old motor that they bought back in 1986 from Gene Snow. It was used then. It's been blown up. It's been patched up. It was the only surviving part of the incredible flip-over backward crash at the Winter Nationals. And when things weren't going well yesterday, they plugged old number 19 back into the car. And guess what? They're going into the final round. This engine has even run 291 miles per hour. I don't know why they don't run it all the time. And I'll bet Gene Snow wishes he had it back.
I would imagine so. As we look over Eddie Hill's shoulder, that's his lovely wife, Ursi, guiding him into the staging light, Steve.
I think the only way that you're going to beat Gary Ormsby on this day is to take a shot at it. Pump the car up and go for the fours. Ormsby has had such consistency. The engine I talked about, old number 19, rumbling behind Eddie Hill. Hill releases the brake. He's off. And there goes Gary Ormsby streaking ahead to the victory. Oh, another beautiful 503, 287 miles per hour. Eddie Hill, problem plagued at 558. Here's Brock.
Lee Beard, obviously hard-fought day all day, but turned out very well, I would imagine.
Well, it's like any other race. If you really work hard and you put your mind to it and you're determined and you have a lot of people supporting you, nothing but success can happen to you.
Well, you came in here, set quick time, and just seemed to roll all the way. Was there any part in the day that you got a little shaky?
We were shaky every single round, I'll tell you, but it really feels good, and it's really sweet that we won this race that our sponsor stepped up and put up some extra money for.
Congratulations again, Lee.
Thank you, Brock.
Yeah, you can't do any better than winning your sponsor's own car race, as Lee Pierce and Gary Ormsby well know. Don, here's how they won it.
It was won at the starting line. Look at that awesome throttle device. Put Ormsby right out in front of Eddie Hill. And then, of course, he took his shot. He put the power into it and smoked the tires.
And that was the end of Eddie Hill, Don. But not so with Gary Ormsby. He's the winner.
3 out of the first 5 races now belong to Gary Ormsby. Unbelievable.
Well, thank you, Steve. I have to give credit to my crew. You know, the knowledge I've got of running one of these cars, you could put in a thimble. So these guys have done it for me again, and it's all what can I say?
All right, you took the lane that no one favored all day long. Was it after watching Bernstein smoke the tires, or what?
No, in fact, Lee asked me if he wanted to change lanes, and I said no, because I didn't think there was anything wrong with the lane. We made 2 good runs down that lane, and I kind of like to stay in that lane.
A 503.
Yeah, it felt real good. I didn't know what it ran, but it felt awful good, that run.
Congratulations again. You now have a bigger lead in the Winston points chase.
Well, you got to get it when you can, because, this winning is fleeting, so you got to stay with it while you're winning.
All right, we'll see you at the next event. Gary Ormsby, what a season.
And what a wild afternoon of racing here at the Mid-South Nationals in Memphis. For Big Daddy Don Garlitz, Steve Evans, I'm Brock Yates. Thanks for joining us.
The executive producer for American Sports Cavalcade is Harvey M. Palish. Produced and directed by John B. Mullen. Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by the Style Auto World Championship Team. The nation's premier source of fast lane fashions, Style Auto, the champion's choice for the style of your life. And by this special offer from Diamond P.
Just incredible. For 6 award-winning seasons on American Sports Cavalcade, we've shared the excitement as fearless competitors push too far. Yet, miraculously, we've watched them walk away. Diamond P has now captured all this excitement on a spectacular new home video called And They Walked Away. The mayhem of motocross, the tumbles of sprint cars, the spins of stock cars, 60 minutes of breathtaking footage. For your copy, call 1-800-453-9300 or send a check or money order to this address. Just $24.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling. Visa and MasterCard accepted. Call 1-800-453-9300 now.
The American Sports Cavalcade is a presentation of Diamond P.